What's going on, YouTube? So it would certainly be an understatement to say that the BMW X3 has long been a force to be reckoned with in this segment. And now it's time for it to take a bold new direction with this all-new 2025 BMW X3. So, with a bold exterior and interior, plus tons of new technology, is this the king of the compact luxury SUV market? Well, let's go ahead and find out. So to start things off here, we went ahead and popped the hood to talk about what we find under here. So you do have a couple different powertrain choices. They are mostly the same as the previous generation. However, it has been enhanced in both cases. This is the 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder on the M50 model. It makes 392 horsepower, which is, again, more power for 2025. This is going to be paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and our fuel economy has also increased quite a bit because we have a mild hybrid system, so now it comes in at 27 mpg.
Now, of course, we cannot wait to show you all of the new dynamics and what this new X3 is like out on the road, which we'll be doing later on. We'll also be getting things like our signature sound level reading, and after that, discussing resale and reliability.
But we talked about the bold exterior and interior, so let's close up the hood and go ahead and get into those. So like we were saying, this is a pretty bold redesign for the X3 because it involves a lot of design elements really from BMW's most recent concept vehicles. And overall, it's just a lot more flowing than in the previous generations with a little bit less body lines. Now, in terms of what you have up here in the front, of course, that is going to mean you get the latest version of the signature kidney grille. In this case, as you can see, a lot of it is going to be sealed off. You have lines that kind of run through it. And then you've got the silver trim going around the outside edges. This is also illuminated at night, so it gives it a really cool look. This is available as an option on the 30 model, and then the M50 it is going to be standard. And speaking of, this is, of course, going to be available in 30 and M50 models. The I on the end has been dropped off of these new models to avoid confusion with the I electrified division. Just be aware, we're probably going to accidentally say I a few times during this because it's going to take a second to get used to that new naming scheme. Now, let's move to the headlights. As you can see, we've got a full LED arrangement on board. These are projector LEDs for both the low and the high beam, of course. You've got the double daytime running light and turn signal indicator with the fading effect as most recent BMWs have. Cornering lamps will be available as an additional option. And then as far as the rear is concerned, just like with the front, it is going to be taking a bold new design step for them.
Yeah, I think it's, a new look for BMW SUVs. And as far as some of the design elements, let me go ahead and break some of those down. We have a spoiler up top, we have an exposed rear wiper, and then Drew's hopping inside so we can see if all the taillight elements are LED. So we have an LED brake light portion. Our reverse light is going to be integrated down here. That's also LED, and an LED turn signal indicator. So all of your taillight elements are LED. I like the overall shape to the taillight. Now, as far as the design itself, it's a little bit flatter than it was before, and that takes me down to this lower diffuser area. So there's several different types that you'll find. On the regular 30i models, you're not going to have any exposed exhaust outlets. However, if you choose the M50 like what we have today, you're going to have quad exhaust outlets as well as all of this finished in a body color. Your tow rating is 4,000 pounds for the 30i or 4,850 if you choose the M50 model.
And moving on to the wheels, of course, you do have a wide variety of selections beginning at 19-inch alloys. Here on this model, we have a 20-inch contrast alloy with a lot of spokes. I think it's a really cool design that certainly pops overall. It also pops with that blue brake caliper in the back. You can also get that in red if you prefer on the M50. Moving up here to our mirrors on the M50, you have the little wing design. And of course, you have all the features as standard as you'd expect. That includes heating, blind spot monitoring. We have auto dimming on the driver's side as well as power folding.
Now at the side of the new X3, you're going to notice that we have a little bit of a chunkier design than before. It's a little bit boxier and SUV-like, and overall vehicle length is up 1 inch over the previous X3 to about 187 inches long. Now when it comes to your safety system, I'm happy to tell you that you are going to get 3 out of 4 of those as standard equipment. Additionally, they do offer the driver's assistance package that will further add things like adaptive cruise control as well as a highway assistant. But guys, that's going to wrap up the exterior of this all-new X3. Let's dive into the tech-filled cabin. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, let's dive into the interior. Before we get inside, though, we'll take a look at the BMW key fob. You do have a standard smart entry system. Remote start's available in the convenient package. On the M50 here, we've got the M colors and the full gloss black finish. Now getting inside the vehicle, it's got the new BMW design door handles that kind of flip up. So you just reach behind there and pull up, and that will unlock the door. All right, and let's check out the interior. So obviously, as we've been talking about throughout this video, really is a big shift in terms of the overall cabin experience. Going to be very heavily technology focused on this model. But before we get into the individual details, let's first start off by talking about our seats. So standard on the X3 lineup is going to be a Viganza leatherette. This is going to be available in a few different colors. Obviously, we just have kind of the standard black option on today's model. It does come with a lot of stitching details, though. So as you can see, you got the nice cross stitch, color contrast stitching. It has a very realistic feel as well. I think BMW does leatherette better than pretty much any other brand. But if you do want the real thing, you can get that. You can get the extended merino package as well. As far as the seats themselves, as you can see, you've got a lot of adjustments, including 4-way lumbar support. We can also adjust our bolsters right there as well. And then we have memory seats located up here on the door trim in a touch-sensitive panel. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now closing up the door, let's go ahead and dive into the overall cabin materials. So beginning over here with our door trim, as you can see, there's a lot of interesting designs going on here. We have a leatherette pad with stitching for your arm to rest against. This is going to be a soft touch plastic along the top, and then our center section here is going to have a cloth trim. You'll also notice the part of the interactive light bar. I'll talk about that in just a second. As we move to the upper dashboard, this is finished in a leatherette. You've got a stitching detail that kind of runs down through there. You can get this in an available textile finish as well. And then let's talk about those interactive light bars, because those kind of act as trim to the overall interior. They react to different things that are going on inside of the vehicle. So when you're using the voice assistant, things like that. Just to demonstrate what it kind of looks like, when I turn the hazards on, you can see that all the trim actually lights up. And obviously it is part of the ambient lighting as well. Finally, down here on this panel, you have a piece of beautiful aluminum trim. You can substitute this out for wood if you prefer. But let's go ahead and fire it up with our push button start located right here. Now that it's fired up, let's get into the individual details. So, like pretty much the entire BMW lineup, we have moved with this new generation to a dual screen arrangement. That means for our gauge cluster, we have a 12.3-inch digital cockpit system. As you can see, you can go in here and change all types of different designs. It does have a lot of really cool functionality, just like the other BMW models. Additionally, if you want a head-up display, you can get that in the premium package, and that does also have a lot of information inside of it. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, you'll see we've got the newest BMW design. Since this is the M50, we've got the performance-oriented look. So very thick rim here. You've got the two-color cross-stitch going throughout, flat bottom. It's really, really nice steering wheel, guys. It just feels fantastic in the hand. As far as the adjustability, it does manual tilt and telescope. You also can get steering wheel heating if you choose the convenient package. Now let's go ahead and check out interior storage. So opening up our center console, first of all, As you can see inside, we have some donuts because here at Car Confections, we put donuts in the center console so that we know what the volume is. In this next gen X3, we can fit 10 donuts. That's a really good performance for a compact SUV. A lot in this segment are going to fit way less. Also, this is better than the previous generation. Moving forward, you have a really large storage cubby. This is going to have two purposes. As you can see, you've got a couple cup holders, but you also have a really large area where you can stick your phone. It is also a wireless phone charging pad as well, and you've got a couple USB-C ports. This lights up all around it as part of the ambient lighting. Now, behind that, you have BMW's newest kind of nub style shifter. So you're just going to pull back for drive. You can pull back again to activate your sport mode. As you can see, we've got these really large paddle shifters here on the M50 model. Nice feel to those as well. When we head into reverse, you will see a 360-degree camera system pop up if you choose the premium package. If we click right here, we can go into our signature 3D view, and then using our buttons over here, we can actually cycle all around the vehicle itself. And then just press the P right behind the shifter for park. You also have an electronic parking brake and a brake hold system. Now off to the side there, you're going to notice another panel with a lot of different controls. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about our audio system. So we've got the available 16-speaker, 600-watt Harman Kardon sound system, and let's go ahead and give that a sample right now. Yeah, overall sound quality of this system is quite nice. Just like with other BMW products, really fills up the cabin well. Now moving on from that, let's talk about our climate controls. So they are going to be based in the display. As you can see, you can just quickly make your temperature adjustments right there. You can also press inside of there to pull up your more advanced menu with different types of functions. When you click on the number itself, that will bring up your controls for your heated steering wheel, your heated seats, and your ventilated seats. All those are going to be optional features. I do want to point out about the vents though. As you can see, they have kind of a little bit of different operation than some other models. You actually kind of move this around to get it pointed in the right direction, and this touch sensitive area is what actually controls the flow of the vent itself. The same thing actually applies over on this side as well, so you can see the vent is kind of just hiding out over here, not in a very obvious place, and then you can just adjust it up and down with that little slider. Now as far as the screen itself, let's get into that. It is a 14.9-inch display, and it is going to be running the latest and greatest version of iDrive. So this is iDrive 9.0. So what's different about 9.0 versus 8.5 is that this is going to be an Android-based operating system. So even though the overall design looks very similar, fundamentally it is very different underneath. One of the interesting things about the X3 versus some of the other models that are getting iDrive 9.0 is the fact that this is going to be the only one that actually gets a control knob paired with 9.0. All the other models are going to be exclusively touch with the 9.0 system. As you can see, we do have the built-in navigation system. Of course, we have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. Up top, we've got an auto-dimming mirror with our 3 HomeLink universal remotes. And then taking a look up at the roof, I'll go ahead and slide back the sunshade for our available panoramic roof.
But you want to know about the rear seats of the X3 as well, so let's dive into this area. Now, we don't have official legroom figures. However, we do have some sources that have very reliable information about this X3, and they're estimating that we're going to have about 36 inches of legroom and about 38 inches of headroom. So that will be very similar to the outgoing BMW X3, and it's plenty of space overall. I'm 5'9" for reference, and this seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8", and we are still looking at almost 8 inches of additional knee room, and my feet can slide up underneath of the seat. Now, speaking of the seats, they do not recline, so this is going to be your only position that you can get the X3 seat in. And then we do have this fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders inside. You can also option on for heated rear seats. And then here in the center, you'll notice some very new things for the BMW brand. We once again have this kind of interesting design to adjust your vents. Of course, you do have vents. Those are standard equipment on the X3. But we are missing a screen, and that's actually because it's just a $200 option to get your own zone of climate as well as your own adjustment here in the rear. So I would probably option that on if I was looking to buy an X3. And then we do also have 2 USB-C ports down below. You have these little cubbies that allow for accessories to attach to the seats. And then over on the door trim itself, let's discuss this. It's going to be a little bit less premium than what you find in the front. So we do have soft touch on all the upper part, but we have a leatherette on our armrest portion and a ton of bottle storage. That's one of the things I love about this X3 is how much space it has in the door. Fits a Stanley water bottle, absolutely no problems. Walking up to the tailgate, you will have a standard power hands-free one, and let's go ahead and talk about how much space you're going to find back here. Once again, not drastically different than the current BMW X3, but a good amount of space, about 31 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. If we fold those seats down, that's going to give you a maximum of around 67 cubic feet. Compared to the outgoing generation, that's going to be about 4 cubic feet more space, and it's actually going to place this as one of the largest offerings in this compact luxury SUV segment when it comes to space. Now, underneath of the floor, we do have a compact spare tire, and let me go ahead and fold those seats down. They do fold 40-20, 40 split folding. And now that I've done that, we're going to get what we do in all of our Car Confections reviews is get cargo length, width, and height figures in case you're looking to haul something specifically. So in the new X3, we have an overall cargo length of 70 inches behind Drew's 5'8" driving position. From behind the second row, we're looking at 37 inches. As far as overall opening, that's pretty wide, about 42 inches. And then height is coming in at 29 inches. So overall, very practical place to store your belongings in the X3. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the all-new BMW X3. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We will also be trying to get our sound level reading. But first, we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration. Whew.
All right. There we are with a quick little jolt of acceleration in this X3 M50. Not M50i. I remember this time. So, when it comes to this next generation X3, thankfully, the powertrains are very similar to the outgoing generation, but they're also enhanced for this model year. So what that means is that you still have on this M50 model a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder, the B58, but now it does have 11 more horsepower and a lot more torque because it has the mild hybrid system on board.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's about 60 pound-feet more torque, and our overall figures are going to be sitting at 393 horsepower, 428 pound-feet of torque. That is some serious performance, and really, we were already very impressed by what the X3 M40 in the previous generation could do, and to have even more power, I think, is just absolutely awesome. Now, as far as how fast that gets you to 60, it's going to still be rated at about 4.4 seconds for this M50 model. Really, really quick. That's one of my favorite things about this X3 is this powertrain option. That is for sure. This sounds good, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely sounds really good.
Now, of course, you do come standard with the 30 model, not 30i, 30 model. That is going to have a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder. It also has a mild hybrid system attached to it. 255 horsepower, which is up a little bit over the previous generation. 295 pound-feet of torque as well, which is up about 40 pound-feet of torque. So really big improvements, really, regardless of what powertrain choice you opt for. Of course, we do expect BMW to eventually offer an X3M competition, just like was offered on the previous model, but we don't have any information about that just yet.
And of course, we do also, look forward to driving the 30 model as well as soon as possible. And of course, we do have those paddle shifters I was talking about as well. And as you can see, really responsive. As soon as I click downshift, it goes ahead and gives me that gear. I really like the way BMW does this transmission. It's just an excellent overall partner to the powertrain.
Yeah, and you do also have standard xDrive all-wheel drive on all versions of the X3.
Of course, when you use those pedals, it allows you to hear the engine a little bit, even when you're in an area with very low speed limits.
Now, I do also want to just go ahead and dive into fuel economy, because with the switch to having, the mild hybridized powertrains, it does really help your fuel economy. This thing gets incredibly good fuel economy, especially for its power figure. So this M50 model does get 25 in the city, 30 highway, 27 miles per gallon combined. So that is just kind of a mind-blowing figure for me to get 27 mpg out of this motor with this much power. It's up 4 mpg over the previous M40 X3, and for the 30i, the mpgs also go up quite a lot. It's rated at 29 mpg for that model, which is up 5 over the previous X3. So you're definitely going to be saving a lot at the pump, even though BMW is not offering like a hybridized version of this vehicle. You do get the mild hybrid, which really gets you exceptionally good fuel economy.
Yeah, like a full hybrid.
Yeah.
And there could also be a plug-in hybrid coming in the future.
As well as a full electric, maybe.
Well coming. I believe it would be called iX3 if that ever becomes available in the US. So I really expect probably in the next few years to just fully fill out the lineup to give you basically the choice of any type of powertrain you could possibly want. But that fuel economy, especially with the 30 model, that's got to be pretty much the best in the segment. That's an incredible number.
All right, and I also want to take a second here while we're just kind of cruising down the road to discuss overall ride quality. Now, this is the M50 version, which is kind of the more sport-oriented model, and I have to say, I really don't think that affects your ride quality at all. Right now, we are just in the standard drive mode, so we're not in a sport mode, but it does a great job of soaking up the bumps and making sure that really not much of it at all penetrates into the cabin. I also think that these seats are quite comfortable, and it is worth noting that the M50 model does get an adaptive suspension as standard equipment.
Yeah, this is doing a fantastic job.
I mean, this is a really rough road.
You can just see the bumps on the road, but it's really isolating it out. I think it's doing a better job, actually, than the previous generation. Nice.
There's my B58. I love this engine.
It really is just fantastic. As you can probably hear, we went into sport mode for that acceleration there to kind of open it up, give you a good sense of the sound. You can tell, of course, that the suspension does firm up when you enter into the sport mode, so you can feel a little bit more of the bumps and stuff. That being said, of course, that also gives you enhanced handling. So we don't have any real corners, unfortunately, in this area. It's just a very flat area we're testing today, but, you can tell very easily just by kind of steering around a little bit that it does have that, signature BMW feel. It is, after all, the ultimate driving machine, as they say, so you are going to always have those German sport athletics, even if you choose the 30 model, for instance, but especially here with this 50, good body control, just a little bit of body roll is all you have on board. The steering is going to be on the lighter side, really, in all the drive modes, so even in the sport mode, it is a little lighter than I thought it was going to be. That being said, it is still very responsive and overall quite pleasant to drive.
Yeah, I also want to point out the lights do a lot of cool things when you put it into sport mode. It's kind of hard to see here in the daylight, but I assume at night it'd be really cool. This part is blue and this part is red. All of these panels up here at the top turn red as well to kind of give you that sporty ambience. So BMW has done a lot with the lighting of this vehicle to kind of give you that really cool techie vibe in here. And I think that leads us straight into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, which is our favorite and least favorite element. I will just go ahead and kick us off with the airball, not to be a negative person, but just because it kind of matches with what I said a second ago. So they've done a lot of cool stuff with the lighting inside of this cabin. However, the premium materials for this new generation is kind of reduced down to just pieces like right here in the center console. This is going to be the only part where you're going to get that nice aluminum, and we wish that they had maybe put a little bit more emphasis on making sure that premium materials were used throughout the cabin rather than just focusing on the tech side of things.
Now for the Slam Dunk, they obviously changed a lot with this model, but with a Slam Dunk, one of the things that they didn't choose to change, and that was the powertrain situation. They have left it, with those awesome engines that they had before, but even more enhanced for 2025. And really, it remains just one of the biggest highlights of this vehicle, that you can get a powertrain like this.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. And they made it better, which is a double whammy in our books, that's for sure. Alrighty, and we are getting on the highway here, and once we get up to full speed, we're going to go ahead and try and get our sound level reading. Now, it's worth noting we are not in our home state of Kentucky. We're in our neighboring state, Ohio, this time around, so keep that in mind for this sound level reading, but we want to give you guys the best reference point we can. All right, and we are going 55 miles per hour, so let's get our sound level reading. .9 decibels is what we are sitting at in the all-new BMW X3 M50. Now, we typically don't do them on interstates, but this is pretty much the only area around that we can get up to 55 miles per hour safely. So that's what we're doing for this video. Now, it's worth noting, if you want to see all of our other sound level readings, you can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings and see how it compares. And how does that compare to our other compact luxury SUVs? Well, the BMW X3 is actually the reigning champion when it comes to sound level readings. It holds 2 out of the 3 top spots, and this one barely ranks above what we had on our previous X3s. We do look forward to testing it in Kentucky to get an official sound level reading, but I think that's a really good reference point of just how quiet this cabin is. BMW really focuses on making quiet cabins. We see that again and again in all of our sound level readings, so I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. And lastly, for your warranty, you have a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranty. BMW does also include 3 years of complimentary maintenance. And let's talk pricing for the X3. So we do have official numbers this year. We start at just a touch under $50,000 for the 30 model. The M50 is going to be a bit more expensive. $64,100 is our starting point, and of course the M varieties will come later on. Now, this particular tester, $64,100. We also have optional paint, the premium package, most of the other options as well. We're sitting at $70,825, which really doesn't represent much of a price premium over the outgoing version of this vehicle. Now, if you'd like to buy a BMW X3 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a car is about more than just the original price, so let's go ahead and discuss resale and reliability. So let's start by talking about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this BMW X3's potential resale value. We estimate that this BMW X3 will be worth 41.1% of its original MSRP after 5 years and 60,000 miles, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 15.3%. Now, it's worth noting that is below industry average for all vehicle makes. However, it is very much on par with Mercedes and Audi.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. What this does is take into account several studies from trustworthy sources on reliability and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic picture. In this regard, BMW is actually rated exactly at the industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values or reliability data, as well as our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new car is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And well, guys, that's going to wrap up one of the first in-depth reviews of the all-new 2025 BMW X3. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to get the latest car reviews such as this, you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out. So do yourself a favor, subscribe. If you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.